Good morning, fifth graders. Welcome to your next math lesson. Go ahead and open up your math notebook to the next available page. And at the top of that page, write the title of today's lesson, which is Multiply Decimals by Whole Numbers. So today we're multiplying, so we're finding products. We're multiplying factors together and finding products. We're multiplying decimals. Remember, a decimal is any number with a decimal point in it, and we're multiplying those by whole numbers. A whole number is just any number that doesn't have a decimal point in it. So let's go ahead and start by going over the steps and an example. We'll go over an example and the steps at the same time. The first step is multiply normally. And when I say normally, I mean as if the decimal point wasn't there. So let's say we had a situation like 2 and 49 hundredths times 3. We multiply as if there's no decimal point there. We set it up like this, 2 and 49 hundredths times 3. Notice my place value positions are not lined up. This 2 is in the ones place, and this 3 is also in the ones place, yet they're not lined up. I can put my 3 under my hundredths place. It doesn't matter. You multiply normally as if there's no decimal point there. In other words, you pretend like you're multiplying 249 times 3. Now, is this 249? No. It's 2 and 49 hundredths. Much, much different. But for this first step, we ignore the decimal point and just pretend like it's 249 times 3. So we start by multiplying the 3 times the 9, and we get 27. We carry the 2. Then we do 3 times 4. It's 12, plus 2 is 14. Then 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And here's where the decimal point comes into play. Step 2 is count the digits to the right of the decimal point in the factor and move them over that many times in the product. Count the digits to the right of the decimal point in the factor and move, this should say move it over. This is it. Move it, because it is the decimal point. Move it over that many times in the product. So what is that? This one might seem a little bit confusing until you see it in action. Count the digits to the right of the decimal point. 1, 2, okay? In the factor, this is a factor. 1, 2. And move it over that many times in the product. 1, 2. So the decimal point goes right there. The answer is 7 and 47 hundredths. Let me show you another example. Let's say we had 1 and 59 hundredths times 7. Step 1, multiply normally. So we don't even need to worry about the decimal point. We don't need to put the 7 right here and then add a decimal point and 2 zeros. We don't need to line up place value positions. We can just multiply as if we're multiplying 157 times 7. And we don't have to worry about the decimal point until the end. So we start with 7 times 7 is 49. We carry the 4. Then 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4 is 39. Carry the 3. Then 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. And then step 2, count the digits to the right of the decimal point in the factor, 1, 2, and move them over that many times in the product, 1, 2. There you go. The answer is 10 and 99 hundredths. Okay, let's do another example. Let's do 3 and 4 tenths times 8. Oops, can't see it that well. 3 and 4 tenths times 8. So First thing we do is we multiply normally, and we just pretend like we're multiplying 34 times 8. We ignore the decimal point until it comes time to put it in the right place in the product. 8 times 4 is 32. We put our 2 here, carry our 3. Then 8 times 3 is 24, plus 3 is 27. Now we count the digits to the right of the decimal point in the factor. 1, there's only 1, and then move it over that many times in the product. 1. And when we move it over from the right to the left. So it starts here and goes this way. Okay? So that's 27 and 2/10. Let's do one more example before I assign your independent practice. 1 and 8/10 times 9. So we multiply normally. 1 and 8/10 times 9, but we pretend like we do it the exact same way we would as if we were multiplying 18 times 9. So we start by multiplying 9 times 8, okay? Now, what is 9 times 8? It is 72, okay? And then 9 times 1 is 9, plus 7 is 16. Now, count the digits to the right of the decimal point in the factor, only 1, and then move it over that many times in the product, 1. So the answer is 16 and 2/10. 16 and 2/10. Okay, here's what I'd like you to do for your independent practice. I'd like you to do 2 and 4/10 times 8. And I would like you to do 6 and 23/100 times 5. Go ahead and do those for your independent practice, and then click on the video attached under this one to see if you did them correctly. And I will catch you next time. Signing off.